What's up, Otaku fam? We are back, more reactions here for the channel with something a little bit new here. Randy Feltface. Now, I've seen this dude on TikTok a handful of times over the last year or so, maybe. And this particular video has been floating around the reactor space over the last few months, all the way back till even just a couple weeks ago. I've been seeing this pop up on reaction channels, so morbidly curious. It popped up on ours. And I was like, on our homepage, I said, you know what? Sure, why not? Every small clip of his crowd control I've seen on TikTok has been pretty funny. I'm interested to see what's going on about this. Apparently, the whole special is on YouTube. We're not going to react to all of that. I mean, watch that with the Discord or something at some point. I don't know. I really don't know what to expect with this. Like I said, I've only seen his crowd control. I don't know if this is an actual joke or just a story. I don't know what's happening here. Don't care. It's a puppet comedian. I have a feeling it's going to be funny. Thank you guys for the continued support. If there is by chance any other Randy Feltface, if you guys are huge Randy Feltface fans somehow, and I've just really not seen a whole lot of him, and I've been living under the rock, by all means, let us know if any more popular clips from the reactor space that you want us to react to as well, and we'll throw them in a playlist. I don't know. As of right now, this is going to go on the one-off. I don't know, wanted to do this one randomly. Because why not? Mira's here too. She wants to see some Randy. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe. Every little bit helps. And check out the Patreon link down below for full uncut reactions to TV shows, animes, and movies. And let's hop on into Randy buys a bookshelf off Gumtree. I don't know what Gumtree is. I'm gonna assume it's like a Craigslist for a specific region, because I know like Kijiji is like Canada's Craigslist.
Oh.
Like Dominics talked about that before, so I'm gonna assume that's what that is.
Right.
I'm sure.
Gumtree. I don't know what that is.
I'm sure he'll explain it at some point during this video. All right, put your headphones so you can hear it. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Okay, fuck. Okay, here we go. Okay. Walking to Sky, Chapter 1. I bought a bookshelf on Gumtree recently. It was an amazing experience. I'll quickly tell you about it and then I'll read the book. But I found it strange because it made me start to think about the way like our methods of communication have sort of changed over the years. You know, in the old days, if you wanted a bookshelf, you'd just go see Gareth the bookshelf guy because he was the dude in your tribe that made the bookshelves.
Right.
The little bookshelf
That was his
cave.
role.
He was reputable. Now any mad bastard can sell their shit on Gumtree. You know what I mean? As a species, we're sort of able to cope with knowing and gossiping about around like 100 or 150 people. That's like the limit of our tribe. Any more than that, it starts to get confusing, which is why we create...
No, my tribe is like a max of 10 people.
It's a big tribe.
You want to know who those are? If you go into our Discord community, it's us and the senpais.
That is true.
That's the tribe.
That's true. That is fast.
abstract constructs like territories and deities to unite larger groups of people under an imaginary common factor.
That's
and
facts.
it works a treat because we only really gather en masse on special occasions. But I think like social media and it's fucking all that up, you know? I don't think we're able to deal with the thousands of people we're connected to on a daily basis, and as a result we neglect our immediate 150, you know? That's why I never get invited to parties anymore. It's not because I ramble on about veganism and fisting old ladies. It's because I'm not on Facebook and everybody just assumes you are. I am so behind on the births, deaths, and marriages of my friends that I feel like the time traveler's wife every time I go to a party. I'm like, this is...
Let me tell you, that's facts. I am one of the few people that I know that doesn't have a Facebook. And I can't even count on two hands the amount of times in my life that I've met somebody, and then the next time that I've seen them, and they ask, what's your Facebook? And I say, don't have one. They're like, oh, that's why I couldn't find you. That right there is why I don't have one. Why are you trying to stalk me and figure out everything about my life? I'm already a bad texter, so I would say you just, if we need to actually communicate, just text. But the text should only be to make plans to see each other at some time. And me and Ren here don't like to go out with people very often. If we get a get together with like our group of friends from our gym, that has to be a really farred out plan. I have to put that on the calendar. I gotta mentally prepare a week in advance. Like it. No, the amount of people who are mind blown about me not having a Facebook is always funny to me. But because of that, I don't know what's going on most of the time. I have to hear it through passing from other people. I'm like, oh wow, that's what's happening. Damn, that's crazy. I don't know. It just is what it is.
Every time I go to a party, I'm like, this is Tim, he's our son, he's 6 now. Fucking didn't even know you were pregnant. Anyway, and you know smartphones aren't that great. You know that, right? They're not that great. You don't need the internet in your pocket. You work at Coles, okay? You're not working for the president. You don't need it. You don't need that much information. And also, what was the point of developing opposable thumbs for you to take a photo of your head and post it on the internet and then just stand by for validation? Gives a fuck about your head. They'll only validate it in order to gain permission to post a photo of their own head on the internet and stand by for validation. The people who give a fuck about your head will at some point see it in real life.
Facts, bro.
Fuck your head and the neck it rode in on. Your vanity is sucking up my bandwidth. Anyway, this is what's going through my head as I'm on Gumtree looking for a bookshelf, because you know when you put something in the search in Booktree, what the fuck? When you put something in the search on Gumtree, I'm having a stroke up here. Yeah.
Also, can I just say, you forget he's a puppet half the time. The mannerisms and stuff and the expressions of his movements are actually really good. I'm having a stroke up here.
Something in the search on Gumtree, I'm having a stroke up here. Yeah, when you put something in the search, right, and like, there's always a couple of things that come up in the list that are like the polar opposite of what you search for. I'm like, get out of my head, Gumtree algorithms, conspiracy. No, but seriously, you type, it's like bookshelf, and it's like bookshelf, 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 gramophone, bookshelf, 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 combine harvester. What the fuck? That's actually a pretty good price.
That's how they get you, Randy.
On this particular day, I found 2 bookshelves that worked for me in terms of cost and, more importantly, geographical convenience, because I'd be fucked if I'm driving to Broadmeadows to pick up a bookshelf, right?
Okay,
so
yeah, it's like a Craigslist.
I type in bookshelf and I see the 2 things and I'm like, okay, one seller is Kathy, the other is Morgan. I send them both the same text message. Hello, I saw your bookshelf on Gumtree. Is it still available? Kathy texts back straight away saying, sorry, it went this morning. That's cool, Kathy. I'm sorry I gave you an annoying voice in the retelling of this story. Morgan's response came through a couple of minutes later and simply read, it was my wife's bookshelf. How do you respond to that?
You don't. Find another bookshelf.
Aside from the fact that it doesn't answer my fucking question, his use of past tense in that sentence unnerved me slightly. I'm like, oh, I should probably just find another bookshelf.
Yeah.
Yes,
and then
find
I
another
noticed
bookshelf.
He lived in the suburb next to me, so I replied,
oh, he's so close.
is it still available? He responded with the letter Y. Just a Y? Is he asking me why I want to know if it's still available? Or is it a Y for yes, and he's so in the throes of grief that he can't manage the E and the S? I assume it's a Y for yes, so I respond, cool, I'll take it. When's a good time to come and pick it up? No reply for 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, he's forgotten about me. Fuck it, I'll find another bookshelf. And then when his reply actually does come through, I realise he spent those 15 minutes crafting his response because it's a fucking thesis. He must have felt so bad about only using a single consonant in his previous text that he just massively overcompensated with this one. Also, for some reason, felt that the use of punctuation entirely unnecessary.
Oh, no.
So it's just one obscenely long sentence
yeah.
which reads, You must come and pick up now. I only have short time here at house and also it wide. So bring van or trailer and there stair. But I can help you carry downstairs. If you come park out front, walk up past ring bell, and I will help you carry it to trailer or van. I only accept cash. And if you do not come now, I will sell it someone else.
That just seems like a huge red flag.
Again, I'm thinking, I should just find another bookshelf
Yes.
at this point.
Please don't go.
But now I am fascinated by Morgan,
Oh,
and
no.
I simply must meet the man.
You really don't need to beat this man.
I drive over to his house. Oh, before I left, I sent him a message saying, cool, I'll be there in 10 minutes. He replied, okay, but spelled it O-K-A-Y, which just fascinated me more that he'll use 4 letters to spell a 2-letter word, but only 1 letter to spell a 3-letter word. Morgan is off the fucking chain! Driving over to his house, I'm trying to picture what he's going to be like, you know. His pidgin English might suggest ethnicity of some sort, but I don't want to racially profile him. Maybe he's an old man who recently lost his wife and is not that very good at texting. Or maybe, and I'm really hoping this is the case, Morgan is just batshit crazy. So I get to his house and I go up to I park out front, walk up past ring bell, and I brace myself for the door to be opened by like an old man in a smoking jacket, wearing fishnet stockings and suspenders, just puffing on an opium pipe, while a butler just creepily polishes a goldfish in the background. And then a tiny pug dog wearing a fez hat just trots up the hallway, sits on the mat, looks up at me and says, "Welcome to our lovely room." And then the door opens and I am thoroughly disappointed. Before me stands an average Caucasian male in his mid-30s, dressed casually, hipster chic, stubble, glasses with designer frames, expensive watch. I immediately think architect, but the house is too cheesy for that. It's like a double-story doll's house with bay windows, but definitely a designer of some kind, maybe a...
All right. Be honest with yourselves, Otaku fam. How many of y'all start profiling people like that as soon as you meet them? You're looking at everything around like, all right, let's look at that fit, the fit. Okay, the car. What do you do? What is your life like? What is your free time? Look, how often do you do it?
Spell it?
Easy for that. It's like a double-story doll's house with bay windows, but definitely a designer of some kind, maybe a graphic designer. He's too skinny for manual labour. He's too hip for the public sector. But this can't be Morgan. Because Morgan's text messages would suggest that he's not that technically savvy. And then the man standing in front of me says, "Hello, my name's Morgan." And the plot thickens! He invites me in, shakes my hand, closes the door, and 20 minutes later, I will be witnessing Morgan perform some of the most aggressive acts of violence I've ever seen in my life. And I will be speeding away in my car, bleeding from the face. Here's how this shit went down. I go into the house and I notice 2 things immediately. One, this is a house in the throes of renovation. Nothing too extreme, but there's like drop sheets on all the furniture, there's freshly painted walls, there's a bathtub wrapped in plastic in the hallway awaiting installation. Someone's doing some work on this house. The second thing I notice, on the way up the stairs to the 2nd floor, on the 1st floor landing, is a wedding photograph featuring a very cleanly shaven Morgan with a very beautiful bride. Very much in love. The photograph is very much on the floor and the glass in the frame is very much smashed. She's not dead, she's left him, and the plot thickens a bit more for Morgan. And as Morgan unceremoniously, kicks the photo frame to one side on the way up the stairs, I really wanted to pry into Morgan's life and ask heaps of inappropriate questions. But he was clearly a broken man. He had this terrible air of sadness around him, so I didn't want to intrude. Luckily for me, though, I didn't have to, because Morgan immediately began oversharing and told me the whole fucking story. Thank you, Morgan. I shall hang off your every word and then retell your tale to 200 strangers and record it for a fucking DVD.
Oh, yeah. You made it this far.
He
got
is
me.
a graphic designer, yes, and he's really good at it. He does like massive rebranding campaigns for large corporations. He gets flown all over the world doing this shit, right?
Okay.
About 4 years ago, a woman hired Morgan to rebrand her florist business, and he did such a great job, she married him.
Oh.
And he thought everything was just fine until about 3 months ago. Morgan.
Okay, no. Before we do, what do you think happened? What's your predictions?
Oh God, I don't really have any. I'm just here for the ride. So he did a good graphic design job. So
what happened to
good
the couple?
Oh, I'm thinking as I was repeating the story, trying to think.
Gotcha.
Thinking cheating, or she was already married.
But on which side did the cheating happen? Do you think Morgan's at fault or was the wife at fault? It was definitely cheating. There's no way it wasn't cheating. But who's
I
at
hate
fault?
that I'm gonna be this way, but I feel like it might be him, just because he gets flown all over the world,
right,
to do high branding content, and he must do a really good job where a lot of people want to marry him. So that's my thought.
Okay. Just to be opposite, just to see who wins it, I'm going to side with Morgan on this one. And the only reason I'm even going to attempt to do that is because of the disheveled, dark aura around him right now. If it was his fault, I don't think he'd feel that bad about things and be in the state that he's in.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to give it to Morgan, and let's see what happens here.
If I'm right, it's because he's upset he got caught. So.
Yeah, I mean, that could very well be the thing. That's why I said this is the only reason I'm even giving the hint that it could be not Morgan's fault here. We're going to find out, though.
He had to do a presentation in Sydney, right? But he was on his way home from overseas and he got stuck in Dubai due to a flight cancellation. So rather than cancel the meeting, Morgan suggested to these businessmen in Sydney that they do a Skype chat because he's so technologically savvy despite his fucking baffling text message style. So Morgan checks into a hotel, cracks open his laptop and starts Skyping with this room full of businessmen in Sydney who are all watching Morgan on a massive screen on their boardroom wall, right? And everything's going great. Morgan is totally nailing it until about halfway through, he realises that a file he wants to show these dudes is on the desktop of his home computer back in his home office in Melbourne. And he decides to live share the desktop of his home computer on the Skype chat. He knows how to do that. He can control his computer remotely from anywhere in the world. It's not particularly new technology, but Morgan makes it sound so impressive. So this room full of businessmen are all watching keenly like, oh, Margaret, bring in some biscuits. There's some newfangled shit going on in here.
What was on the
As Morgan clicks a few buttons and brings up the desktop of his home computer on the Skype chat.
Right.
Now, what Morgan doesn't realise is that his wife has been using the photo booth app on that particular computer to take pictures of herself.
Right.
To take naked pictures of herself. To take naked pictures of herself doing some pretty fucked up shit.
Okay.
It's embarrassing to say the least. Just as Margaret came back in with the biscuits, I've got you the... Now, those of you who are familiar with the photo booth app will know that how it works is it accesses the built-in camera in your computer and with a click of a button, takes a photo of you when you're standing in front of the screen. And if you know that, you'll also know that if you leave that application open, the camera also stays open, witnessing whatever may be happening in front of the computer in real time.
Oh, no.
So
such as your wife
in
your home office fucking your best mate.
Oh, you were right. Never mind.
I'm sorry, Morgan.
Damn. Yeah. Morgan's a real one for that. Never mind.
Bro, can you even imagine? No wonder he's so depressed right now in this story, bro.
Yeah.
Doing a business presentation and then that pops up in front of everybody you're presenting to is wild. It's like Hell of a Boss, the pilot. That's right
Morgan then goes on to tell me she's keeping the house. His former best mate is moving in. And while they're out for the day happily shopping for fittings, Morgan must suffer the indignity of moving his shit out and selling the stuff they don't want on Gumtree to this guy.
Bro.
It's at this point of the story that Morgan starts crying. He breaks
Obviously,
down,
yeah.
and I do not blame him.
I don't blame
It's
him
fucking
either.
horrible, and I just want to give him a big hug and say, everything's going to be all right, Morgan. But I am holding the full weight of a bookshelf halfway down a set of stairs, and Morgan is the only thing stopping that bookshelf from caving my face in. I was like, Morgan! Morgan!
Listen. Go ahead.
Did you want to tell the story?
No, you go ahead. It's funnier because at least you got more words than you texted me.
All right, so to tell you guys this story, we gotta go
Talk
back.
about really shitty texter.
We gotta go back in time a few years. So it's like right after the first year of us starting to date.
Yep.
I'm moving out of my apartment that I have with one of my best friends into the place that when she gets out of school, she was going to art school in Georgia. So when she moved back, she was gonna move in with me. So we found a place together, and her dad, my father-in-law, was helping me move out and move in. So we're carrying the heavy furniture up the stairs. I lived on the second floor of this new apartment complex. And about halfway up the stairs, he loses his grip on this giant dresser, which now, that dresser's at your guys' house now, at their parents' house, isn't it? Yeah. And it falls on top of me, and my immediate reaction was to grab the railing on each side and just kind of reverse Spider-Man to it. So it's just like, poof, and it's just going into me. He's like, oh shit. And so he grabs it, he gets it back up. My life flashed before my eyes immediately when that happened. I was like, man, I'm glad I have good grip, because that would have just smushed me, took me all the way down with it to the bottom floor, and I would have just got squished against the wall that was right there. We get it up, we get it moved in. That was the last thing, too. That was the last thing we had to move out of his trailer up into my apartment. He gives me a, sorry about that. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. All right, cool. Unbeknownst to me, he texts Lauren here and says, hey, I almost killed your boyfriend. Don't worry, he's okay. As I'm leaving to go back and help my friend with the rest of his moving out, because we had to be out of the apartment that day, and I dropped keys off and everything anyway, I texted, hey, your dad almost killed me with a dresser. Don't worry, I'm okay. And then I'm driving and doing things the rest of the day, and she was in class, so I wasn't really checking my phone too much. And so that was the radios, and my father-in-law is the same way. He's a bad texter, so she pretty much started panicking when she saw both of our text messages.
Nobody responded back to me.
And her mom didn't have any information on this because he hadn't been home yet to tell her about it. So she's just left here with no information till I get home like 3 hours later.
At the end of the day, at night, Lord had turned out the lights, and that's when I get a response back.
Yeah. It was a good time. I was okay. So I understand how Randy feels. That's how I felt when that dresser was coming down. Gravity was working against me right there. So needless to say, the next time that we were moving and didn't use movers, and my best man from our wedding was helping us move out. Anytime something heavy happened and my father-in-law was like, all right, someone help me with that, I was like, you got it, bro. I had my near-death experience. I'm good. I don't need it anymore. So see, lesson learned, you know.
Lesson was not learned on the text message thing, though.
I see you all the time now.
Yeah.
I don't have to text all the time now.
Yeah.
And Morgan managed to pull himself together for about 8 seconds and then just went bah and let the bookshelf go. I fell backwards. It literally rolled over me and took out the light hanging above the staircase.
Wow.
I'm now lying on my back, getting showered in broken glass. As the bookshelf turned end over end, it just went thonk right through a freshly painted wall at the bottom of the stairs. I'm like,
Wow.
I've got a tiny cut on my forehead, which is just pissing blood for some reason. Apart from that, I'm fine. Morgan, however, he's not fine. Morgan is the opposite of fine. Something happened when the bookshelf lodged itself in the wall, and his sadness just went away in a second, and he started pissing himself laughing. Hysterical. And he had the creepiest laugh I've ever heard in my life. I'm standing going, this is weird, and he's going, like some sort of demonically possessed baritone kookaburras. Can I still have the bookshelf? He's like, We extracted from the wall. The bookshelf, incidentally, showing no sign of having just rolled down a staircase and smashed through a wall. We carried it out to my car. We had to stop about 6 times because Morgan was like, hang on a minute. We got it to my car, put it on the trailer, and Morgan was in such a great mood, he let me have the bookshelf for free.
He should have.
Yeah, you should have. That pays for the damage to your forehead.
And that's where the story should end.
Oh,
No.
But there was something about the bookshelf going through the wall that flipped a fucking switch in Morgan's head, and he is now hungry for more destruction. So as I started tying the bookshelf down to my trailer, Morgan just strolls over to like an upright mailbox on the front lawn and just starts trying to wrench it out of the ground, just really putting his back into it. Like, I'm like, you okay, buddy? He's like, yep. He pulls it out of the ground, whereupon he wields it like a fucking battle axe and just starts smashing up the front garden, just beheading the daisies, fucking up the lavender. I'm like, hey Morgan, maybe you want to stop and think about that. And he wheeled around and looked at me like Jack Nicholson chasing Shelley Duvall up the stairs in The Shining.
Oh no.
And said, why don't you mind your own fucking business? Yep, cool man. Yep.
yeah, exactly.
Now, I like tying knots. I'm quite good at tying knots. If I tie something down, I take my time because I want it to stay there. But as Morgan nonchalantly strolled up the driveway, rolled up the garage door, and put the mailbox through the windscreen of an Audi, I must admit, I kind of rushed my knot tying job. I got in the car, I'm about to drive off. I'm like looking at the house going, I'm sure he'll be fine. And then an armchair smashed out of an upstairs window and just went doink, 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 doink down the front lawn. I was like, what's my duty of care in this situation?
To leave.
I didn't want to call the cops on him. I didn't want him to trash the house. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to talk to Morgan.
You don't have to.
really
I walked
don't.
up the driveway, shitting myself. You know when someone does something really violent and you're just like, fuck, we're not supposed to do shit like that. Yucky, just yucky feeling in my tum-tum. And I'm standing there.
Not the yucky feeling.
Standing there in the garage, and there's like an adjoining door in the garage that leads into the house. I can see in through the door into the house, up the staircase. It's like a wooden staircase, and I'm standing in the garage just going, Morgan! Like I was calling a cat for its dinner. Like, Morgan! Muggy, 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 muggy! And then I notice a small trickle of water start to come from the top step. And then a little bit more water, and then quite a lot of water. Just pissing down the stairs like a shitty water feature. I'm like, that can't be right. And then Morgan appeared on the top step holding a hammer like this. Bah! I was like, whoa! He's like, bah! Starts running at me, wielding the hammer, going, "Bah." I'm like, "Oh, no, man, I just wanted to buy a bookshelf." He's like, runs straight past me. I'm like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "Bah." Made a beeline for my car. I'm like, "No, man, stop." He's like, "Stop it, just stop." He spins around and goes, "I just checked my phone. She texted me 15 minutes ago saying she'll be here in 15 minutes. We gotta go!" And gets into my car. Jesus, fuck me. I run down the lawn, get in the driver's seat. I'm like, "What was with the water?" He goes, "Oh, I put plugs in all of the sinks and turned all the taps on." I'm like, "Oh, that's fucked." He's like, "Just drive." I'm like, "Yeah." I took off so quick, rounded the corner at the end of his street, and the bookshelf just went, boosh, and exploded against a guardrail. Just exploded in a shower of badly tied knots and broken dreams. So me and Morgan just fucking left it there. Like a little breadcrumb for his ex-wife to find on the way home to her destroyed gingerbread house. I dropped Morgan at a train station. I have never seen him again. And that, my friends, is why I no longer shop on Gumtree. Thank you very
Valid.
much. Thank you
Very
much.
valid.
Wow.
Fuck. You know my favourite bit of that story? I just made it up.
Randy.
Yeah, it's not true. There is no Morgan. It's very unsatisfying, isn't it? But I saw him in my head. I saw Morgan in my head.
That's even more horrifying.
Why is it we can feel so robbed when someone tells us a story we just heard isn't true, and yet so satisfied at the end of a fictional novel? Huh? No. You know the other great thing about that story? First draft. Fuck you, Hemingway!
Oh, Randy, why'd you have to tell me it was fake?
I could have believed that, though.
I could have believed it.
Just the...
All right, Randy's fucking funny.
Yeah, we should watch more. We should watch more comedy skits.
If there's any other popular just clips, not full shows on YouTube that you guys want us to react to, let us know.
We love comedy skits.
I'm not against doing more comedy stuff here on the channel. If you guys have any suggestions for stuff like that.
We should do it. We should totally do it. I'm here for the giggles. That was a great story. I was terrified for him. Not Morgan.
Why don't you mind your business?
Okay.
Thank you guys for the continued support. Let us know if you want more Randy Feltface here on the channel, and we'll see you guys for the next video.